Guys, what is up, I-90 Sports Nation? What is up, Chicago fans? What is up, Boston fans? What's up, I-90 Sports Nation? What's going on, yo? How is everybody's week going so far? Me and my dude back in the house after a hiatus, me for life and him for his marriage and honeymoon. But what's up, dude? Welcome back. There you go. Welcome back.
Thank
How you
you,
doing,
man.
man? How is things? How
Things
are
are
things?
great. Things are better than ever, man. Things are great. It's great to be a Chicago fan. It's great to be married. It's great to be a lot of things, man. Life's good. Life's good. How are you, my man?
I'm
How was the
man,
game?
I'm good. It's once again we got an interesting week of sports for both of our teams. I labeled this episode blowout wins for Chicago and Boston. Because both of our cities, although in different sports, had won in blowout fashion.
They did.
The Lakers got absolutely demolished by your hometown Chicago Bulls, and the Cleveland Browns ran into the buzzsaw that is Mac Jones and company, 45-7 in favor of the good guys, the Patriots.
Man, the Patriots. It's a lot has changed in the last just couple weeks since I
I
left.
know.
Since I left for my wedding and honeymoon, a lot has changed with the Patriots. They've had two ridiculous wins since then, and it's been something to. Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been
So
interesting. There's a lot to
I
talk about.
want to I want to jump into this, but I want to start with I kind of want to start with your my Browns. I mean, the Patriots and Browns played this week, but I want to kind of talk to you first about the Chicago Bears were on their bye week.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
do want to
Good
talk to
timing.
you kind of about them. So I have a few questions I just kind of want to throw at you, and
Sure.
um, while we kind of get right into it, the first one, what do you? So this is an important game coming up. They have the Ravens coming up after a bye. Um, with their record sitting the way it is, I don't like. I don't know if you could call this a must win, but if they
Mhm.
do lose this game, I think it's going to be incredibly hard for them to look at the playoff picture realistically without a lot of
Sure.
help. Um, so what do you like coming up against the Ravens? Just give me like an overall thought first.
So yeah, we've been on our bye week. The last game that we had, which was on my honeymoon, actually was the Steelers game. And I watched a little bit of that live, and then I watched the full 22. By the way, guys, shout out to Coach Plays. Coach Plays has a phenomenal video about Justin Fields, and you guys should check that out. But anyway, going to answer your question, um, I would say that the Bears, they had this was a turning point game. It was a turning point loss, and I'm glad they had the bye week to kind of let it sink in. And I'm glad they had the bye week to realize to kind of go over the film a lot because it was a great loss. It was the greatest loss the Bears have had in, dare I say, a decade. It was the best loss we've had in a decade. And the reason why, let me explain that. The Steelers are a very, very, very good team, defensively especially. So, and Mike Tomlin specifically is one of the greatest defensive coaches in the entire league. He is a phenomenal defensive coach, and he knows how to put pressure on a young quarterback and how to confuse a young quarterback. And early on in the game, Justin Fields was confused. I do want to talk about the Ravens game, but I do want to break this one down first, and then I'll get to the Ravens game. I have a lot to unpack here because it's been a while.
We got
So
nothing but time, so go for it, bud.
heck yeah, okay, I will do this because this is important. This is very important. This game was a huge game. It really was the Steelers game. It was incredibly huge. There were moments in the game where the pass rush of the Steelers got just so darn like they were all up in his grill. The Hayden, oh no, that's not, Fitzpatrick played amazing. The secondary of the Steelers they were all over the receivers. It was truly a great game from both teams. The Bears, they showed a lot of heart in this game. They really did. They showed a ton of heart. I watched it. And specifically, Justin Fields showed a ton of heart. He was taking hits. He was getting frustrated. He was getting pushed around, but he responded. In the third quarter, I think it was like 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. You could just see he was we were down. What was it? It was like 20 something to like 6. It was like 2 field goals the Bears had or something like that. It was a low score. The Bears were down at least 3 scores at this point. Justin Fields look on his face was not panicked. It was not frustrated. It was not, flustered with his teammates. It was locked in. It reminded me of Tom Brady. Dude, he was locked in. He was like, all right, let's go. And after that, he played better. His throws came out faster. He went through his regressions like. And that was, and that's the funny thing. We've talked about on the podcast so much Justin Fields' strengths and weaknesses and how can he get better and how can he get better? The main problem we talked about this multiple times. The main problem that Justin Fields had was he went through his progression slowly. He'd get up, he'd snap the ball, he'd take his 3-step drop, he'd take way too long to go through his progressions, about 4 or 5 seconds, and then bam, he had a crappy offensive line, so he doesn't have time. But he literally snapped the ball 1, 2, 3, go. Found his guy. Man, he was phenomenal in that fourth quarter. And then he has a bye week to dissect that. He talked to the media multiple times during this week. I watched like 4 of them. I don't know if that's all of them, but I watched a lot of them. He seems not only confident now after that game, he is hungry as he is starving. This kid is starving, Bears fans. He is starving. This Justin Fields kid, he's a young Bear. He is absolutely wanting to rip apart everyone in this league, and we have the Lions coming up in a few weeks. This week, though, and that's what I'll talk about because that's what you asked about, so I'll break that down. I had to break down that Steelers situation because that was such a good game. The Steelers, hats off to them. Tipping my cap. They played amazing football from start to finish. Big Ben even had a couple of signature throws. Justin Fields said something at the end of the game. He said Big Ben gets a lot of hits, and they they throw the flag on him and stuff like that. I agree with that, and it's frustrating to see when Fields leaves the pocket even for half a second and they just pop him and he gets especially in the head. They hit him in the head quite a bit, and he never gets those calls. And I don't know if it's because he's fast or what it is, but I don't like it and it makes me angry. If you're going to call that for one quarterback, you have to call it for all the quarterbacks.
Yeah, so, it's good. Well, that's another thing. We could make an entire. We could take like a good half-hour section of one of our episodes. The like the refs and the calls for the NFL this year have been terrible. It doesn't matter the game. We could do a whole just a segment on just that alone. But it's I 1000% agree. It's if you're going to give it to one quarterback, you got to call it consistently across the field.
If it doesn't, that's the thing. Like, what's a runner and what's not? Is it when you leave the pocket? Is it when you leave the scrimmage line? What's a runner? You know what I mean? Because I'm still looking for my throw, and you blast me in the head. I'm not a runner. So there's so many distinctions that the refs need to figure out. And I think this year specifically, because I think we had like a 3-year span. And I don't want to speak too optimistically. I don't want to speak for everyone. I think we had a 3-year span there where they figured out the catch rule and the refs were not that bad. And then all of a sudden this year, these old owners are just like, all right, well, you know what? I'm sick of taunting. So now everything is taunting, and that just throws everything off, and the rhythm of the game is ruined, and the calls are all over the place. It's a disaster. It really is. They need to figure this shit out fast. But yeah, no, I agree with you. If you're gonna call it for one guy, you have to, man. It's just the way of the game. Like, who's a runner? What's a runner? You can't say, oh, well, this quarterback runs a lot, therefore he can get blasted in the head. But this guy who kind of runs sometimes, he doesn't get, that's a flag because he's a quarterback. That's not acceptable. It's just not acceptable. Sorry, I'll answer your question. The Ravens game. This is a must-win. I don't want to get too far off track.
That's kind of how me and you had talked off camera. That's kind of how I was looking at it. If they lose this game, the Bears, they're going to be. Their hopes for the playoffs they're going to need a lot of help in order to get there.
And I don't think we're going to make the playoffs. And I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this because this has been kind of the season that I almost hoped for. And I know that sounds weird, but like, I just wanted Fields to progress. I didn't care how it happened. I didn't care if it was on the bench. I didn't care if it was on the field. I just wanted Justin Fields to get out there and start, or at least show that he's progressing. And that last game definitely did. He'll probably take a step back at some point and take another, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, one of those things. That's how it is, man. That's how it is. But going to the Ravens game. The Ravens are coming off a tough loss, if I remember right. They if that was I think that was last week. My weeks are all messed up because I've been on vacation, but I'm pretty sure they came off a very tough loss last week, or it was the week before. They've had a tough season. Lots of injuries for the Ravens, man. And it's really tough. It's really tough when you have all those injuries from the offensive line to the running backs, and you have Lamar Jackson kind of relying on just a few guys. So it's really, really tough. I think that the Ravens are I don't know who's going to win that game, man. I think I'll say it. Justin Fields is the X factor. If Justin Fields plays well, we have as good a chance as anyone to win that game. But if he kind of has a tough game because it's a tough defense, it'll be understandable. This season is not about winning a Super Bowl. This season is about developing a franchise quarterback. That's what the Bears should be focused on. Next season, the season after that, then you can focus on a Super Bowl, getting your finances together. But what do you think about this game, my man? I've been talking like nonstop for 10 minutes, and it's been exploding, man. It's been like a week.
You kind of, me and you were kind of on the same page with it. It's this season's about getting Justin Fields comfortable in the style of offense that you guys want him to run, and just making sure that he doesn't die. And he makes it through the season without a season-ending injury or something serious. Get him through the season, get him comfortable, get him acclimated to the way he's going to be running the offense in the NFL, and just make it through the season. That's what this is. That's what this is for Chicago. And if you get through the season, and if you're a bubble team, then bonus. You know what I mean? Bonus. If you're a bubble team and you're right there, and you happen to be fighting for a playoff spot on the way, at the end of the season, then great. That's a nice little added little Easter egg, a nice little bonus,
If we made the playoffs this year, it would mean one thing. And actually, before I go on that little 2-minute rant, I want to say, Bill, to answer your question, Bill says, question, do you think that Fields will be injured in the next 7 weeks? God, no. I hope not.
I don't think he will. I think they're going to be smart enough to not let that happen.
They've been using a lot more rollouts. They've been kind of keeping him away from the offensive line, the disastrous offensive line, and they've been trying to protect him more. So I like that. I hope he doesn't. Damian says that Mooney and Fields are the key. I would say the key to the entire franchise. Damian, I agree. I don't care.
Mooney's development to me has been slower than I think expected. That's I think. Mooney? I think it's been. I think it's been slower than they've expected what they've expected.
Well, it's. I think,
but he is good though. He has shown flashes of being very, very good.
That catch in the sideline. What was it like? I don't even remember, but that catch. I think it was like 3 minutes to go. Where Fields dart. Here's the thing, man. I can't. I'll explain that throw from Fields to Mooney in the back of the end zone. That was a hell of a throw and catch. Amazing throw, amazing catch, absolutely incredible. And it is nice as a Bears fan for the first time ever to tune in every Sunday for your quarterback. We're not rooting for Matt Forte anymore, or Anthony Thomas, or Walter Payton anymore. We're rooting for Justin Fields. You know what I mean? That feels good, man.
It's the future. The future, yeah.
We've never had it. We never had a franchise quarterback, really. Even Jay Cutler, we were always thinking to ourselves, we can do better than this. Back of our minds.
All right, so I do have a couple of questions for you to kind of just rifle at you, and I want to get your instant reaction from them. So we already talked about that. This is pretty much a must-win in order to keep your playoff hopes alive.
Yes. That's not the ultimate goal, but it is a goal.
I think this year is about just staying competitive for you guys. Keep it competitive, and if you happen to be in the playoff picture, so be it. It's a nice little bonus. Cool. So my first question to you would be for the Bears: what is Justin Fields and company going to have to do to beat the Ravens? What are they going to have to do to beat them?
Fields is going to have to throw. He's going to have to pull out that fourth quarter. See, here's what made him special against the Steelers. And this is exactly what he needs to do his entire career. If he does this his entire career, Justin Fields will be one of the greatest quarterbacks, one of the top 20 quarterbacks of all time. He will. He spread that ball out. He went through his progressions like snap, 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 all over the place, man. The difference between Justin Fields against the Browns or even the next against the Packers or the next 3 weeks, and Justin Fields in that fourth quarter against the Steelers is Grand Canyon. It is completely different. It's a guy who took about 5 seconds to go through his progressions to a guy that took half a second to go through. I mean, I'd say about 2 seconds to go through his progressions. It was so fast. If he can just do that, if Justin Fields can do that, and then mixed with his athleticism, his amazing arm that he can just drop 70 yards down the field easy anytime, and his amazing down the field accuracy, he'll be a phenomenal quarterback in this league. If he can go through his progressions at that speed, it's a wrap. He can be anyone in this entire league, period. He can be anyone if he can do that. So that's the Fields that I want to see every single week. And you got to protect him. That's another key. You got to protect Fields. You got to give him a little time every now and again and let the play develop. You know what I mean? Give the receivers some time. But that's my key. What about you?
So you're saying the keys to beating him are give him time in the pocket, protect him, and for him not to be afraid to use his legs, right?
Well, no, I mean, he definitely could use his legs, but I would say if he can be the fourth quarter, the guy who can, the Justin Fields who can go through his progressions quickly, the guy who in the fourth quarter who got into such a good rhythm and who could just like lightning through his progressions. All right, like I'm going to throw to this guy this time. He went through 5 different receivers in like 12 throws or something like that. That shows that's like Drew Brees-esque. Like that is Tom Brady-esque. If you can do that, I don't care who it is. You could beat anyone. You can beat the Ravens, Patriots. You can beat anyone. But you have to be that guy. You can't be the lethargic kind of coming out of the pocket slowly. So it's on him. I mean, that's the thing. He's a talented kid. It's on him. The franchise is in. We gave him the keys to the franchise. He is the Bears. Justin Fields is the Bears. We have a good defense, sure, maybe, but Justin Fields is the guy now. So if we will go up and down as he does, and I like our chances.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, my next question is: if the Bears do lose this game, is Matt Nagy on the hot seat, and should he or shouldn't he be?
See, there's been a lot of talk about Matt Nagy's job this year, and some by me, and I've been back and forth. I've been all over the place. I'm not going to lie. You know, it's an emotional situation. It really is. The Bears, especially – what's that?
It's tough.
It is tough. Chicago's an emotional city. We are reactionary. We're, you know, like a lot of sports cities, maybe not a lot, but a handful. Boston, Philly, Chicago.
Passionate fan bases, dude. Passionate fan bases there.
Keep in mind, week 1 or 2, people were trying to track. They were saying fire Bill Belichick. Remember that?
There was a time when they were yelling fire Bill. I do.
They were. I do. So, with that being said, I don't think Matt Nagy should be on the hot seat. I think that Justin Fields is Matt Nagy's lottery ticket, and if Justin Fields hits, if he hits, then Matt Nagy hits. And maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know how the McCaskies or the Phillips family feel. I do not understand, or I don't know where they're looking at it, or how they're looking at it, or what goes on behind the scenes. I don't know who's getting like looked at, or if anyone's getting looked at. If they're saying, "Oh wow, Ryan Pace is doing," it's hard to say. They're very quiet people, but I don't think he should be necessarily because Fields is developing. If Fields was not developing, you got to try one more time with a different coach. But if Fields is developing, Matt Nagy can keep his job. That's my answer. Do you think that would be Jersey?
No, definitely. It's like we talked about previously, dude. This season is about the development and the progression and the protection of Justin Fields. Priority number 1. Get him through the season. Get him through the season, as unscathed as humanly possible, and just get him comfortable and just get him a feel for how this is gonna go.
Exactly. Give him some time to figure it out. Give him and you know what? That Steelers game I cannot stress enough. There were Matt Nagy talked about it after the game. It's nice to have a quarterback where you give him the ball and you say, go make a throw. And you have confidence that he can make an accurate throw. Like we just haven't had that. So it's nice to have that guy. But all
right. So this is kind of a general question. So we're 10 weeks into it now, JD. We've had, 3 weeks of preseason and 10 weeks of regular season football. So after 13 weeks, What's your assessment of where the Bears are at? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What is your? I want your assessment of
The state of the
where you
Bears
think they're at.
is good. It's good, and it needs to get better. We need to foster. Somebody said in the chat earlier, we need to foster Mooney and Fields. I don't care if we keep Allen Robinson. We probably can't afford him. We probably can't keep Roquan Smith. I don't even know if we can keep Khalil Mack. Probably, but I don't know. So I would say that the state of the Bears is good. Here's the thing. Here's what we got. Okay, we have a franchise quarterback. We have a guy who could potentially be a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. It's possible. Right now, he's not. But we have a guy with the potential to be. He's like a Deshaun Watson potential. And we have that guy now. That's great. So you have the quarterback, potentially. You think you have the quarterback. And you definitely have the middle linebacker. You have Roquan Smith. So as long as you have those two, and then I'd say Jalen Johnson, you definitely got to keep him too. Those three right there. If you can keep those three, you can do whatever you want. You can do whatever you want at all. The one thing we have to do, no questions asked, you absolutely must do, we got to upgrade that offensive line. You have to. So that's my going forward. That's what we have to. We have to. Period. Yeah. O-line is number one.
You got to ensure that the future of Fields is the protection. That you're gonna need the protection in front of him in order for him to succeed. He can't keep scrambling around like this for the entirety of his time here. You got to give him something.
That's probably why Nagy wanted to play Dalton, because he knew that the O-line sucks. Matt Nagy probably showed up to camp and was like, yeah, they suck. So maybe let's play Andy Dalton for a while and ease him into it. Maybe get a few O-linemen, maybe figure out the O-line work in progress. And it's so stupid. I'm done with Jason Peters, dude. I'm so sick of hearing this stuff. He had one good game one time. I think it was against the Lions. And he no. Jason Peters needs to go. I agree, Damian Hernandez. He needs to go. I don't like his attitude either. It's you're not even good. Don't even talk.
Peters, I think, was nothing more than a depth piece for you guys that has had to step in. And I think it's just I think he was supposed to be nothing more than a depth piece and kind of turned into a starter because of necessity, because Nagy saw how rough it was looking out there. And I personally think they put Dalton in there because they got scared. They got scared that Fields was going to get hurt, that the O-line in front of him would get him hurt.
And he's a damn tough kid, man. Justin Fields, it cannot be overstated. Tom Brady said it in the Brady 6. He said some people can take a hit and then make a great throw, and some people take a hit and then they're all hesitant for 3 plays and stuff like that. So Justin Fields has proven he can take a blast, a huge hit, and then just toss it 40 yards for somebody. That's a special trait.
Well, isn't that kind of what he took, that huge hit, right, and came back 4 plays later, and isn't that when he launched that 40 or 50 yard bomb down the field?
Yeah, he's been all over. I mean, he took hits. Yeah, in the Steelers game, he took hits all game, and then the one game against I don't know if it was the Packers. But yeah, he took a really, really, really bad hit, and then he hyperextended his knee. He was out for 3 plays. 3 plays. I'm just man, this kid is he's just tough as nails.
A normal person, when you hyperextend your knee, you're in a knee brace. You're in crutches for a week.
For me, I was for 2 weeks almost. For 10 days, I was in crutches, and he's over here just I just need a little breather. Give me a breather, coach. Let me just stretch it out. He's just all right. It's man, this kid is so tough. Justin Fields, it's hard not to just that's my effing quarterback. You know what I mean? Every time he does something great. I've never had this much excitement or pride for a Bears quarterback. I just haven't. Period. I've never been that excited about Jay Cutler or any guy anymore. Brian Greasy. Ugh.
And no. You kind of talked to me about it off camera too. The way he carries himself too for you guys, the way he leads the team, the way he talks to the media, the way it has to be refreshing for you guys to see something like that, because he's even though as young as he is showing real leadership qualities, which I'm sure that, upper management and Nagy and I'm sure that they're they like that as well. You know what I mean? They not only the on the field stuff, but the off the field, the way he carries himself, all that stuff matters too.
When football is good in Chicago, everything is good in Chicago. So Matt Nagy wants to be the king of that. And he knows that if Justin Fields doesn't work out, which it looks like he's gonna, if he doesn't work out, Matt Nagy's definitely gone. Everything is incumbent upon Justin Fields. Every single thing. If Justin Fields decided tomorrow, I really don't like Matt Nagy, I'm going to talk crap about him in the media. Even though he's only 22, probably get rid of Matt Nagy. I'm just saying, it probably would happen. It's just a fact.
I have a feeling that they would pick the kid over Nagy too. I really do. I think they would possibly go with I think they would go with their future over the coach.
It'd be like that sometimes. It's like we haven't had a guy like that. That's just how it is. But yeah, it's the Bears. It's exciting to be a Bears fan. The overall state of the Bears is I'm excited, and we have a lot to work on. But I'm very excited for it.
No doubt, dude. I think the Bears are handling Fields accordingly. They don't want to. They're making sure he doesn't take any unnecessary stupid risks, and they're basically just getting him game speed ready for what he's gonna face. Like, this is an adjustment period for him. It's all right, kid. We're just gonna get you through the season. We're gonna do the best we can, and let's get you some offensive line help at the in the draft or next year. We'll make sure that we're gonna put some guys in front of you that can give you some time to work.
Well, we would like it to be like the Patriots or the Chiefs, where we can ease you into stuff because we have such a great system. But the fact of the matter is the Bears didn't have a great system, and they don't. And they didn't have a good offensive line or a good running game or even that great of a defense. They have a good defense, a good pass rush, and a good run block defense or run stopping. But the thing is, I'm just gonna say it as a Bears fan, the last major point I want to make is the reason why we won against the Bengals, almost won against the Steelers, and have competed in all these games has nothing to do with the Bears franchise. The Bears franchise is collapsing. Like the O-line, the D-line, we're all getting old and stuff like that. So the reason why they've been competitive, Justin Fields. His like the reason why we won the Bengals game. Do you think we're winning the Bengals game without Justin Fields? I don't think so. And he Dalton didn't play very well, and he got hurt.
Probably not.
So it's exciting to have a quarterback be the reason you win versus the reason you lose.
Yeah, no, and it, like you said, it's exciting. It's exciting that you guys have what seems to be your guy. Now you just have to surround him with the right. Now you just got to build up the pieces around him.
Keep him and Roquan Smith, and I don't care what you do with the rest.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah. No, absolutely. But let's stick with football, and let's travel back down. Let's get back on the pike and head east on I-90 back into Boston. And let's talk about now the Patriots' big win over the Browns. In this past Sunday's game. This was for the Patriots. This was the first game that I think they kind of put it all together. Offense, defense, special teams. This was by far Josh McDaniels' best game. Like best called game of the season for him. No contest. It was everything was balanced. It was set up. This was by far Josh McDaniels' best game of the year. And I think it took him a while, and maybe they were just moving really slow with things and didn't want to they had everything. They ran the ball well. They stretched the defense out with the deep ball well. They hit the over the middle stuff well. They used the tight ends well. The defense played phenomenal. The offensive, just overall an excellent team-wide effort win. All three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. So let me just I don't like to be a stat nerd, right? Because I think a lot of football is, numbers don't lie, but a lot of football is the eyeball. You have to look at the game and watch the game, and a lot of it is the eyeball test. But it was, just like I said, just an overall great win. Let's kind of start off offensively for the Pats. First of all, Trent Brown came back today, and it was his first game like officially back from the injury. He got hurt 6 plays into the season, and we haven't seen him since. And he's a starting tackle.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
pretty much, the whole 10 weeks, he's not. We haven't really had the right setup for the offensive line. People have been playing out of position, and that's tough. Like, being an offensive lineman myself for the years that I did play, cohesiveness and chemistry and knowing how the guy next to you on the offensive line is a huge part of it. And they played 10 different combinations of offensive lines throughout those 10 weeks. So that means like almost every game they had a different group of guys in there trying to work together. And that was because of the Trent Brown injury, because everybody's trying to piece it together and just make it work and not get Mac Jones, murdered and killed during the game. You want to keep him upright. That's the goal. Keep him upright and do the best you can to let him work. But him being back yesterday was massive. I mean, my dude was just caving motherfuckers' souls in last night. It was spectacular. He was blocking 2 guys for most of the night. Like, it was awesome to see him back there. Just the anchor that he was. Everybody back in their original offensive line positions. They didn't have to. It wasn't patchwork anymore. It was everybody's back where they usually are, and the offensive line just steamrolled the front of the Browns all game.
Oh yeah, man! It was a hell of a game. I did watch it, got into it, and it was very interesting to see the Patriots. You can see one thing is true: they're coming. They're coming and stuff. The snowball is starting to get bigger, and things are starting to come into place. The Hunter Henry passes from Mac Jones to Hunter Henry, those were very impressive and very telling, and something that has been a Patriots staple for a long time, kind of dominate the middle of the field, take away the safety and stuff like that. So, or rather abuse the safety, I should say. But yeah, that's something that they like to do. And the main thing that I would say that I loved about the offense of the Patriots is their discipline running was so impressive. Like, every play was executed so well. The counters and the pitches and just all the fakes and, the screen, everything was just done so Belichickian. It's very the Patriot way. It was very very clean. It was very clean. Like, everyone knew exactly who they were gonna block all the time. There was never any like chaos or confusion or bodies piling up. It was very just deliberate, and it was good to see the Patriots back doing what they do. It's probably the most impressive I've seen the Patriots since Brady left. Wouldn't you say, the last couple weeks?
In the last few, this was their like I said at the beginning of this thing, this was the best. This was the most complete game they have played all year. Offense between all 3 phases, they put everything together. And as much crap as I've given Josh McDaniels through this season, and I've been on him. I've been on his case a lot this year, because I don't think he's lived up to what this offense is capable of. And I think finally this week, everything was balanced. It was set up right. The offense was so a huge part of the game is the game flow on offense. You know what I mean? The rhythm. It's about capturing that rhythm and then just keeping it rolling. And it was so. Get this, JD, right? The Browns won the toss. They took, I believe 10 plays to go 76 yards and score. Touchdown in the left corner of the end zone. Passing touchdown from Baker. That's it. The Patriots proceeded to score 45. I repeat, the Patriots proceeded to score 45 unanswered points. From after that first drive, the Browns did not score a single point.
That tells me that Baker's a very limited quarterback, because that tells me that Belichick saw something that Baker was doing and he took it away from him, and that Baker could not adjust the whole game. So that's the way I see that. And that's good coaching and bad quarterbacking. But no, I think the Patriots. Another thing that is really impressive. Not only their offensive line is one of the best in the league, I think the depth at running back has always been amazing. Stevenson is amazing.
Oh yeah, we were yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna dive into that. So we talked about the offensive line, and just it was phenomenal having Trent Brown back and everybody back in the right positions that they need to be in. Nobody has to stress about playing out of position, and there's no patchwork on the offensive line. And that, like you just said, that benefits the running back core. Brandon Bolden, Ramondre Stevenson in particular, the young rookie, 24 carries, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And that dude was running angry. He runs. He's a miniature LeGarrette Blount, just that angry running style, not afraid to lower the shoulder, lower the helmet, lay the boom on someone, and just run through people. He's not afraid of contact. He'll always fall forward for the extra yard. And another thing I think that people that I didn't even realize that he's actually really good on the passing, on the catching passes out of the backfield too. The wheel routes for him have been phenomenal the last couple of games, and he's just proving to be a very good all around back and a serious weapon for them in that offense. Mike, hey, mute.
Sorry, my bad. Isn't Harris out right now? Damian Harris?
He actually was just cleared today. He was in concussion protocol and he got cleared, so he'll be good to go.
It was hard to notice the difference, in the running game because they played so damn well. It's like Harris is a good player, but this is kind of what I said at the beginning of the season. We talked about it, and I think you asked, will Harris rush for 1,000 yards? And I was like, I don't know, because they have so many dang running backs. It's like, who needs to rush for 1,000? I mean, he might, just because their running game is so incredible. Just because they are going to run on everybody all the time. So it'll be interesting to see. The Patriots are impressive. I don't know, man. They could, like you said, you said at the beginning of the season, like they could end up like 10-6, or what is it, 10-7 or something like that, 11-6, and steal a playoff spot from the Buffalo Bills, or maybe even win the division. So especially with that defense, with the defense playing like that. I have the defense on fantasy, and I mean, they got me like, what was it, 15 points, man? They're like,
you should hang on to them because they're not done yet.
They've been dominating all year.
So and that it's interesting you make that point though, because the defense has been good. It's been solid. Probably for most of this season, it has been solid. This was kind of the first game where the offense caught up with them and was playing on their level too. You know what I mean? They caught up. The offense finally caught up with them, and I think that's what made this game so good, was because they were playing on par with each other. There was no more. They were on level with one another. The defense was playing phenomenal, and the offense was right there with them.
The offense wasn't putting the pressure on the defense. Like, there was no 3 and outs. I think somebody mentioned it in the chat. Like, it was like touchdown drive, field goal drive, touchdown drive, something for the Patriots. So when you have that, the defense is sitting there like, man, we're getting all this rest, all this Gatorade and stuff. We're going to go back in there and just clap them again. You know what I mean? Like, if your defense is resting late in the game, that's really good, because if they're not that tired late in the game, then you have a good chance of winning the game. And obviously, when you're running like that, they're going to be on the field for a long time. They're draining the clock down. That's exactly how Bill Belichick wants to win.
So they also, another like, kind of, like I said, I don't like to dive into numbers, but the numbers told the story on this game a lot. The Patriots had three drives against the Browns, right? Of 90 yards or more. Three times they drove 90 yards or more and scored.
Didn't the Patriots start from their own like 2 and they ran right at the gut?
They do the three times.
That's ballsy.
They started or had to drive. Excuse me. They had to drive 90 plus yards to get in the end zone, and all three times were successful.
Wow. Yeah, I mean that is a testament to the quarterback and the execution and the offensive coordinator, etc. I mean that's excellent. It's an excellent stat, honestly.
And really so we talked offensive line. We talked Stevenson in the running back core, which again, I want to give a massive shout out to Brandon Bolden too for stepping in and doing what he's been doing since Harris and Stevenson have kind of flip-flopped with injuries and just, being, he's been a great stand-in for the two of them, and not only for them, but for James White in the third down situations where they need a guy. Bolden's done a phenomenal job of standing in and just being the guy and doing whatever they need him to do. So a massive shout out to him as well in this offense. Just doing the dirty work, because he's more of a special teams guy, not an offensive weapon. He's used to playing, he's a special teams specialist. He's phenomenal on special teams, and he's proven that he could still do what it needs to, do what needs to be done on offense too, which was great.
Absolutely. No, yeah, they're all that they've proven to be. They may be young, they may have a young quarterback, a rookie, but you can't overlook them each week. You can't overlook the Patriots.
So let's dive into the quarterback. Our quarterback, Patriots Nation's quarterback, Mac Jones. The young kid is in my opinion, in the running for offensive rookie of the year. Another really solid day from the kid. 19 of 23, only missed 4 throws on the afternoon, 198 yards in the air, and 3 touchdowns, 2 of which went to the guy that I want to talk about next, Hunter Henry. The Mac Jones Hunter Henry connection gets better and better, and that chemistry gets better and better every week. This organization went from Bledsoe to Ben Coates, Brady to Gronk, and now Mac Jones to Hunter Henry.
Wow.
That's
something
else right there.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to lose when you have one of the best tight ends in the league. I mean, or not? It's not that it's hard to lose, but it's nice to have a safety blanket for your young quarterback. That's for sure. It's important. And I think that's one of the reasons. I think that Belichick has a lot of reasons for doing the things he did, and I think I've expressed this on and off podcast that I think that he sabotaged Tom Brady, because I think Tom Brady loves having tight ends and he loves having middle of the field slot receivers, and he gave him none for like 3 years. And Tom Brady still went and won a Super Bowl, even though he had none, except for Gronk. But he had no one else besides Gronk. And I think that he sabotaged him because he wanted to move on. And this is why he wanted to move on, because he wanted to play like this. He wanted to play like he's playing right now, like they've been playing for the last 2 weeks. They wanted to run the ball. He wants to have control over everything, Belichick does. And like you said, and I think what I would say is I think it helps Belichick mentally to not have Tom Brady there constantly audibling, constantly undermining the things he wants to do, and constantly doing what he wants to do. Yeah, it's interesting though.
No, it definitely. Yeah. Well, you know how Belichick coaches. He likes to run a very tight ship, like everything. And if you listen to guys talk about it, it's everybody has a specific job. Everybody is a cog in the machine. Everyone's a piece and a part of the machine. And as long as you're doing your specific job and doing it to the best of your ability, the team, once you put those bunch of individuals together and everybody performs their job to the best of their ability, you win. That's how he's always been. It's we win and lose as a team. And he doesn't like putting anybody above it, because then it's like, well, this guy is more important than this guy. And he likes that whole, he's just always been a team. Like, it's the team. It's no one, no matter who you are or how big your name is above the team. And that's always, if Brady thought he was going to change that, like, I'm sorry, but you're just not, that's always the way he's been, and he's not going to change.
Brady thought that he was special because Brady is special. But at the same time, it is what it is. But Belichick feels that the culture is more important than any one person, and I understand that. Bill has an awesome question that I definitely want to get to at some point. We'll fit that in whenever we can. But
Bill, at the end of the podcast, we're definitely going to address that. There's a few.
That's a good
there's
question.
A question that I have. Yeah, we have some stuff, just basic NFL stuff that we're going to go over at the end. Yeah, we'll definitely hit that on the end.
But yeah, the Patriots, man, I think that Mac Jones is the perfect guy for Belichick too, because he's an accurate thrower. He doesn't try to do too much. He only calls. It looks like he only calls audibles or adjustments when he absolutely needs to. It looks like he tries to execute the play exactly how it's meant to be executed. And I think that, there's low expectations for Mac Jones. Even if he becomes, you talked about offensive rookie of the year. Sure. Why not? Why not? You know what I mean? He's especially if they make the playoffs. Why not?
So for like I said, I don't like to be a stat nerd, but I do like to rub haters' faces in it when I get the chance. So this is per Football Focus, and they follow the numbers more than anybody, right?
Right.
Football Focus and some other whatever kind of stat thing that Next Gen. That's what it was. So
stats.
Pro Football Focus and Next Gen Stats. This is coming from them, guys. On throws of 10 yards or more in the Browns game, Mac Jones was a perfect 158.3 passer rating. Perfect.
Wow.
On throws over 10 yards.
Wow. In the red zone, you said? Wow. That's
so for all the haters that say, oh, he's a check down king and he can't throw. Yeah. How about that?
You don't need to be an overly like Justin Fields. Isn't it amazing to have a guy like Justin Fields, a talented, there's so much raw talent there, as well as the huge arm, and so accurate and so athletic, so much there. But here's the thing. We need Justin Fields to be talented more than the Patriots need Mac Jones to be talented. Yep. They need Mac Jones to be good and smart and efficient and not mess up. And the system will do everything else.
The Patriots system has always been, JD, responsible and accurate with the football. Don't do anything stupid.
Yes.
And just make the throw. Make the accurate throw and hit your man and just don't do anything stupid with it. If you have to eat it or throw it out of bounds and take a sack or like I said, throw it out of bounds, live to fight another series, but just don't put yourself in a situation where you're gonna make a mistake that's gonna put that's gonna result in a costly turnover. That's just how the system's run for years now.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. They need running backs who won't fumble, offensive linemen who will pick up blocks, and quarterbacks who don't turn the ball over. And that's what they need, and who are efficient in the red zone. And that's, like you said, that's what they have. Mac Jones might be one of the best fits in the NFL for his team.
For the system that he's in. He's the best fit for them. The best.
He's a good fit. So take what you can get.
And so last but not least, the wide receivers for the day had a very, very solid day as well. Shout out to Jacoby Myers for his first career touchdown in the NFL after 135 catches.
Wow.
He finally gets in the end zone.
That's weird.
He scored yesterday on his first touchdown. And
That's strange.
It was an incredible moment. It was like with 2 minutes left in the game, and he scores the touchdown, and the whole bench, the whole Patriot bench was over there celebrating with him. It was an awesome moment to see. I got to see it live. It was awesome. It was an incredible moment. So shout out to Jacoby for getting the first career touchdown in the NFL out of the way. It was an awesome catch. It was really like.
He's been balling for a while. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
Kendrick Bourne is also emerging in the Patriot wide receiver group as a serious threat as well. These guys, it's once again, the Patriots just find guys that fit their system well, and they just put them in positions to succeed. And Bourne is another one of those guys where we got him from San Francisco and we just put him in a position to succeed. And Mac Jones just feeds him. He feeds him the football and just lets him do his thing. And the catch that he made in the end zone was phenomenal, where he split Mac Jones threaded the needle between two defenders and hit it, and just, Bourne made an even better catch, high pointing the football and just going up and getting it. Great catch, great play. But it's the team. So to close it out on offense, it's nice to finally see the offense reach the same level as what the defense has been playing at. And if they can keep it up, there's going to be some teams that are going to be looking over their shoulder in a hurry.
Belichick seemed to have found a new core of guys that fit his style, and that is scary. That's a scary sight. And he wants that number 7, man. He wants number 7.
It's scary that it seems like Bill's got that fire back, because for a little bit it was it was in question a little bit, because he kind of took a step back. Just took a step away for a little bit. But the last couple weeks, man, I tell you, I think he's got that. I think he's got that fire back, and I think they're gonna. I got a good feeling they're gonna beat Atlanta. The real test is going to be against Tennessee. That's going to be the real test for them. If they can beat Tennessee, we can start talking. Talking Patriots in the playoffs realistically, because the rest of their season is a layup.
Belichick he's heard all that chirp, chirp, chirp. Tom Brady's the real reason why the Patriots won 6 Super Bowls and stuff. He wants to extinguish that and go out into the sunset. He wants to knock that completely out of here. And I wouldn't be surprised if Belichick does win a Super Bowl in the next few years. I wouldn't be surprised if he calls it a wrap and gives the reins to Josh McDaniels. I really wouldn't, because why else would Josh McDaniels stay in New England? I'm just saying, Josh McDaniels
for this long.
For this long, exactly. He could have been in Chicago. He could have been in the Colts. He could have probably been in 3 other teams, but he stayed. So I think he wants that job, and yeah, who knows? Might happen. And Belichick, all Belichick would need is one more Super Bowl win for everyone to just shut the heck up and say Tom Brady and Belichick, it's 50-50. You know what I mean? That's all he would need.
Hey, Phil says N'Keal Harry finding a spot block. He might not be catching, but he's blocking. He caved Myles Garrett's soul in on one block off tackle, and it was spectacular. It's in the highlights. You should go watch it. It's hilarious.
That's awesome.
He absolutely caved his soul in. There was nothing left. Done. So let's kind of switch over now to the other side of the football, which we know has been playing well the last couple of weeks, was the defense. And Bill hit a home run on a few of the picks in the draft this year. Mac Jones being one on the offensive side of the football. Ramondre Stevenson also a home run. On the defensive side, he didn't do too bad either. Christian Barmore on the D-line has been phenomenal for them. Again, having himself a very, very solid game on the D-line. The defensive front in general this game was absolutely getting after it. They were getting after it, man. They made Baker and Baker's backup there. I forget his name, but because Baker was hurt at the end of the game. But they made Baker's and pretty much all of the Cleveland's quarterback core there miserable. The whole game, they were miserable. They were running for their life.
Yes,
the deal, and they blitzed. It didn't seem like they blitzed a lot.
Yeah.
They just blitzed in good spots. But the major point is the D-line again, just absolutely showing up to play. A major shout out to them. That they had the defensive line and the D ends had a phenomenal game. So first and foremost, that.
And the secondary does their job. I mean, it's a great unit, and they didn't. That's the thing. Everyone thought that darn, I forgot his name. That cornerback that they just cut.
Wait. Gilmore.
Gilmore, yeah, thank you. Gilmore, yeah. Everyone thought he was going to anchor that defense, and he was going to be that go-to cornerback. But seems like the younger they go, the better they are. So, I mean, if you're the Patriots, just keep on doubling down on your young guys and see what happens. And maybe in a few years, you'll find yourself in the playoff hunt. I mean,
but like you had said it on prior episodes too, that even though they lost Gilmore, you still thought that they were going to be just fine. Dude, it literally took 3 weeks for Bill to straighten that out. They lost Gilmore, and it took them under a month to get that core, straightened out and get things. And then, dude, like JC Jack, the young kid, even like the young kids like Bryant and Duggar and Phillips and all these, you had said, and you had said that Bill Belichick is a cornerbacks guru, and
yes.
he's got that defensive back core performing.
I never worry about Belichick's secondary. That's never been his issue. The issue has always been, can the linebackers and pass rush be good enough to be a good defense? But the secondary has never been an issue with Bill Belichick. I've never heard of, Bill Belichick's secondary is crappy. I've never heard of that. I've heard the offensive line is struggling. I've heard they can't really find a good running back. I've heard they can't draft a good receiver. And I've heard some struggles in the pass rush. But I've never heard Bill Belichick ever have quarterback problems. And that's the thing. He was the coach, and he talked about it. He was the coach with the Giants when they had what's his face, LT, when they had Lawrence Taylor, and that secondary would give Taylor time to do whatever he did, and it was a good time. It was very good. So yeah, Belichick, he knows what he's doing. I don't worry about Belichick's defense. He definitely knows what he's doing.
No, absolutely, dude. 1,000%. So the secondary, like you just hit on it, the secondary was great. They were great. They were phenomenal as per usual. They had a very, very solid game. Now the surprise for me was that the as of the last couple of weeks now, probably 3 weeks in running now, Van Noy, Bentley, Hightower, and the rest of the linebacking core have really stepped it up. The Browns game, they definitely stepped it up. Kyle Van Noy made 2 very, very good defensive plays in the passing game, in the Browns game, and then the game prior, he also made 3 very good coverage plays as well. It's just been very good. It's been very nice and a relief to see that the linebackers are finally coming around. They are it's taken them a while, I think, to get back on track, but they are definitely playing with much improvement.
Yeah, no doubt. And the Patriots are scary, man. They could win out. That's the thing. They could straight up win out. Now, I don't know if they will, but Their schedule
there's
isn't.
two teams that could challenge them. The Bills are one, and the
Yes.
Titans are one. And we play Buffalo. We still have to play Buffalo twice.
But you have a chance in both of those games, which is
oh yeah. Tennessee's the only team on this schedule right now, the remainder of the schedule, that could actually present a realistic problem. As of late, I have no faith in Buffalo. No, after the way they crapped the bed against the Jags, they're like, until the Bills prove me wrong and at least get to the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to have that high faith in them.
Honestly, this is what I would say. If Belichick can bring a rookie quarterback to the playoffs in that division, he's already validated himself, in my opinion. And he doesn't. I mean, he has already validated himself. He could quit. He'd already be the greatest coach of all time. But the fact that if he can take a rookie quarterback to the playoffs 2 years after Tom Brady leaves, that's really impressive. That is something to be said. That's something you can hang your hat on at the end of the day. Even if you just make the playoffs as a Patriot, you should be very proud. That's what I would say. If they make a run, that's even better.
I was ready for a 9 to 10 win season this year. That's what I was expecting. And if we win more than 10, if we win 10 games or more with a rookie, that's, you know what I mean? With a rookie, if we win 10 games or more with a rookie, and Mac and Jones continues to play the way he plays, I'll take this season, and we can because guess what?
That's what I'm saying.
We're only going to get better.
Yes.
This team is only going to get better from here on out.
Yes, man. No, I agree.
But that was the nice surprise for me, though, dude. The linebackers finally, because how many weeks have I been yelling and saying that they need to get better, and they're the weak point of this defense.
Well, you're seeing what they need. And Belichick probably feels the same way. He knows, and Patriots fans know what they need to win because Belichick's been doing the same type of thing for 20-something years. Like you even said it, Bledsoe and I forgot what the tight end, but then Brady and Gronk, Brady and Watson even, Brady and a few tight ends. So they have a formula, running the ball, efficient over the field throws, and then a really strong defense. You've seen it before, and you know when it's not there, and you know when it is there. So the Patriots fans, they have high expectations. Belichick has high expectations. Any more success that Belichick gets without Tom Brady will be highlighted. It will be highlighted in the history. It is important, and I mean he's already the best, but you're kind of just like proving it even further. You know what I mean? All of this is. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
I think they will make the playoffs actually. After what I've seen,
there's a legitimate shot, dude. I think they realistically do have a shot to make it. I think they do.
60% chance, maybe 70% chance to make the playoffs this year, which is pretty high for a rookie quarterback.
I mean, 6-2 down the stretch for them is more than doable. More than doable.
And that'd be a nice playoff spot. You might even get a high seed. You might even get a bye week. It's possible.
And Phil said it perfectly. It's this team right now, and the way Bill has them, you're just one game at a time.
1-0.
We're looking to go 1-0 every week. 1-0 every Sunday. That's it. And that's how he's kind of always been. And it's especially with the young core. That's, you know what I mean? Especially with a young core. Like, you can't tell me Bill didn't look at this team in the offseason and say that they were old and slow in some spots and needed to get better.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sure he did. I guarantee he did. Belichick is always looking to move on. Any chance he gets to move on, he will take it. Sometimes he'll force a chance to move on, even when other people don't want it. So Belichick, I think that there's a lot to build off of from this year. Even if the Patriots flame out and go let's say they go 5-6 or something like that, or 4. No, it wouldn't be that many. Either way, let's say they flame out and only win a couple more games down the stretch.
Yeah, they end with like 9 wins, 8 or 9 wins. Yeah,
even if you lose almost every game that you have, only win like 1 or 2 games, you're not going to blame Mac Jones. You're not going to blame a lot of these guys. It'll probably be due to injuries. So I think the Patriots have a lot to build off of, but I think that this year they have a chance. If they make the playoffs, dude, anything is possible. When you have 3 running backs, you could win the whole damn thing with Mac Jones. He has the poise to do that, and I think it is interesting. It is interesting to think about. They could be the first team. If Belichick did that, the conversation is over. Like, Belichick is, without a doubt, the greatest.
So I've started putting money away for the Super Bowl ticket just in case.
It's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea. I mean, maybe
that would be just a little bit at a time. Just slide it into a little separate. Yeah, like this stays over here for just in case we mess around and get there. Huh?
Is it down in Phoenix?
It is in SoFi Stadium in California.
Oh, it's in California. Okay. I don't know where
it's in LA this year, I believe. So yeah, the new stadium, SoFi.
Have fun in LA. Oh man.
Me in Los Angeles, I don't know how well that's gonna go. That might be like a little 1 or 2 day deal.
Might not make it back. Oh man.
But that's and I just want to give one more thing, like just in the defense, like the defense they've kind of been the anchor of this team, and it was just like I've said before, like I said a couple of times before, it's just nice to see the offense elevate to the same level. And Matthew Judon has just been phenomenal ever since coming here. There was one play, there was a series that I believe it was the second quarter. It was before, I think it was before half. There was a series before half. The Browns were driving, and they were on, I believe, their own like 30 or 40 yard line. They lined Matthew Judon up off the left end, and he just ate a dude's soul and then killed Baker. Like absolutely ate him alive, right?
Killed Baker.
Right? Seriously, just ate his soul. This offensive tackle just didn't stand a chance. Whoever it was didn't stand a freaking chance, right? Just absolutely swim move, and the dude just looked at him, just demolished Baker Mayfield, right? So they lined him up the next play. They lined him up in the same position, and they were going to run the same blitz, right? They put a guy. He was right outside the offensive end, right off the offensive end's outside shoulder, in the same position, and then we're going to have him rush the same way, right? The tight end bear hugged him and tackled him to the ground, and they immediately threw a flag. Like it was like they knew, like the guy just said, "Fuck it, I'm going to take the offensive penalty because I'm not going to let him kill my quarterback again."
Yeah, man. Like that's when you get desperate. That's the kind of shit you do.
Because he couldn't stop him. They couldn't. They literally couldn't block him. They could not block him. They were double teaming him. They were doing they were chipping him, and they couldn't. The guy literally bear hugged. He picked like Captain Insano style on the longest. like picked him up and power bombed him to the ground. It was. It was the only way they were going to stop him from not getting to the quarterback. It was, but that's the kind of day defensively they had. They were just making Cleveland's day miserable on the offensive front.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Cleveland stood no chance. And I think it was entirely a reflection upon Baker Mayfield. I don't think it reflected upon the defense, because the defense took what they were. I mean, they were always on the field for the Browns. You know what I mean? So you're going to get worn down eventually. Yeah. The Patriots' execution was phenomenal. So yeah, you're going to get worn down. That's how it goes for it.
So let's switch up sports, JD, and let's head back west down the pike, down Route 90, back into the Windy City. And we're going to talk about one of your sports teams, the Chicago Bulls, who are 10-4 to start this young NBA season. And man, do they look good.
Oh, man. I mean, yeah, wow. Yeah, they look really good. It's exciting. What should we start with? You want to break it? You want to break it down?
So let's talk about the latest game, the last game
Okay.
they played, the Bulls versus the Lakers. They beat them 121-103.
No, yeah, that's exactly. I mean, it's what we love to see. It's what we love to see, and here's what it is. The coaching staff talked about it after the game, and they talked to Lonzo Ball, because you got to think, Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, they both wanted to be Lakers, man. They were drafted by the Lakers. They would love to have signed with the Lakers, but they weren't chosen to sign with the Lakers, man. They're talented guys, but they weren't chosen. They could have been part of that core, but they weren't chosen for it. They chose other guys. They traded Lonzo for AD. They did a lot of things. But here's the thing. You know what? Let's break it down. First, I'll talk about the game. Then I want to talk about Lonzo Ball. First, the game. The game proved a few things. One, let's talk about the Lakers. The Lakers are slow. They're old. They're unenthused. They're uninspired. They're confused. They don't know what their identity is. Are they a big team? Do they shoot more threes? Are they a little bit of mix? Without LeBron James, they have absolutely no identity. Their identity, just like every other LeBron James team, is LeBron James. And without LeBron James on the floor, they are a lost cause. So honestly, Russell Westbrook, this is my feelings towards Russell Westbrook. He is either great or terrible. And that is not something you need on a championship team. That is why KD left. That's why he couldn't handle it anymore. He's either really great or he's terrible. And there's no in between. And it's really frustrating. And you just kind of cringe every time he has the ball late. But anyway, so moving on, talking about the Bulls. Well, what are your thoughts on the Lakers really quick before I move on from that?
We're going to get into that a little later on, but
right. Sure.
I don't know if I don't know if the makeup of that team is going to be able to survive the full NBA season.
I don't think
that's what I'll say about them.
I agree. They're too old. Two, it looks like Carmelo Anthony is playing like the best. And if he's your best player when LeBron's not on the floor, it's not good. Where is Anthony Davis? Is he a good player anymore? I don't really know. That's frustrating. So, yeah, there's a lot of problems with the Lakers, but we'll talk about that in a second. Back to the Bulls. Alex Caruso is becoming one of the best off-the-bench defenders in the entire NBA. He is amongst the leaders in steals in the NBA.
Didn't he have like 8? I think he had like 7 or 8 steals in one game once. I thought I saw that stat.
He is a great wing. He has a great guard defender. He played Steph Curry really well, about as good as you could possibly play Steph Curry, because Steph Curry is a shooting demigod.
Generational talent.
No words can describe the talent that is Steph Curry. But the Bulls, I want to talk about everything but Lonzo Ball, because I want to really break into that. DeMar DeRozan is refurbishing his career. Let's talk about that for a second. DeMar DeRozan, man. So the NBA changed the rules. So they changed the rules over the course of the offseason. And not everyone knows this. So let me break it down a little bit. So they're trying to emphasize a 3-dimensional basketball game. They want a post game, a mid-range game, and a long-range game. They want all 3 instead of just like the analytical close game and long-range game. So one of the things that they've done to try to combat this 2-dimensional game of like inside and outside and that's it is doing this whole thing where James Harden, the fake fouls, the 3-point fake fouls, where James Harden walks up to a guy, just kind of looks at him for a second, and then jumps into him, shoots, and then kind of basically touches him, and that's called a foul. There are guys that are being affected by this. James Harden is having the worst season in 10 years because of this. Bradley Beal is having one of the worst seasons of his career because of this. Luka Doncic, my guy right back here, has lost a few points a game and a few assists because of this rule, and he is complaining a lot to the refs. Jason Tatum, your guy, is having some issues with
doing the same thing. The same thing as Luka. He's having a tough time.
The list goes on and on. They're not used to it. It's different. DeMar DeRozan is loving it. This is his world. He's like, yeah, dude, inside out game, like 3 mid-range game where it's important for me to dribble and isolate and stuff like that. DeMar DeRozan's having a ball. He's got like 27 points a game. He's back to 2013 DeMar DeRozan. I think this is ultimately good for the game of basketball, though. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's ultimately in the end, like end game wise, it's going to be good for the sport. But like you said, some of these guys who have been exploiting a lot of these rules for years and years have got to adjust. They've got to definitely. There's like me and you were talking off camera. There's definitely going to be maybe a season or two of adjustment to the new kind of way they want to bring the mid-range game back. That's what they want to bring back. They're trying to.
It's important. It's important to have that mid-range game, I think. Well,
that's where a lot of skill set comes in. Can you hit those shots from the elbow? What, if you can't drive to the hoop, can you hit those shots from the elbow and those 12 footers? Can you make those jump shots?
Tony Parker made a living off of those floaters. Like he made a career, made championships off those floaters. So have so many other guys, Sean Livingston, and DeMar DeRozan. So he's more of like a mid-range, like footwork type of guy, like a Kobe type of mid-range guy. But that's the thing. When you take away that game, that part of the game, you take away so much that is basketball. So I love that they've this one subtle change, like, hey, let's stop Harden from going to the line 15 times a game just because he's running up to people and elbowing them in the face. Like, how is that okay? Oh, you gotta let him shoot. Like, no, that's ridiculous. Like, what is this? Like, he's not kicking a field goal. Like, this is basketball, man. If he's gonna shoot, like, you gotta hack the dude. And we'll talk about that.
You have to try to. You have to actually commit the foul. There's not a lot of like ticky tack. Oh, it's like
the foul anymore.
Yeah, no doubt.
Which is good. You shouldn't just bait a foul. It's not acceptable. It has to be a real foul. Otherwise, we're not even playing basketball anymore. We're playing, I don't know, like princess ball or something. I don't even know what you want to call it. Anyway, yes,
no doubt, man, no doubt. So
DeRozan's been phenomenal.
Let's talk. So, let's go back to the Lakers and Bulls. The Bulls win from last night. Caruso and DeRozan sharing the load last night, over 30 points for each of them. And it just seems like this season, at least from what I've been seeing, you never see the same Bulls players leading the charge. It's every week, every game, it's two different guys or it's a different guy. So that tells me that they're the sharing of the basketball and the sharing of the load of the season, they understand that this is a marathon and not a sprint, and everybody's getting their shot with the basketball, which is a good thing for that. Just goes to show that they're a cohesive unit and they're not they're not selfish, which is gonna in the long run be really good for them.
Yes, that's how average to above average players, when you enjoy playing with each other and you have a cohesive unit and you don't care who goes off, that's how good to above average players become champions. And I don't want to overstate that, but that is a fact. If you have 5 guys that can just go off for 30 points, maybe even 6 guys that can go off for 30 points on your roster, and those guys don't care who does it, that is a special basketball situation that you're in right there. That is a rarefied air. It just does not happen very often. And yes, none of these guys, besides maybe Levine, has transcendent talent in anything at all. None of them is a transcendent shooter. Levine is the closest. None of them is a transcendent athlete. Levine is the closest. But they're all good players. They're good. They know how to play, and they're unselfish. And I would give the unselfishness, the culture, to one guy in a family who's never lost, and that's Lonzo Ball. Dude, Lonzo Ball, man, he came into this Bulls team, a team that didn't really have an identity, and he gave him an identity. And he may not be the highest scoring guy. He may not have the prettiest highlights, but he is unselfish, and he makes everyone else unselfish. And honestly, he's become a hell of a three-point shooter. He's become a great defender. And he's become efficient. And that's all you can ask in your point guard. He's big, he's strong, and he makes plays.
When a team shares the scoring responsibilities like that, you know what it also shows that is a huge part of any game and any like championship caliber team. They're buying in, JD. All of them. They're all buying into the system that they're running right now. And that like that's a huge part of any championship team, any championship run. You as a coach and especially as a coach, you have to have your guys buy into the system that you're trying to run. And when they share that responsibility, that scoring responsibility, the way they are, it just goes to show you that they've all bought into this. They've all bought into it.
They have. And I think it does start with your point guard too. Kobe White is a good player. He's a good player. Lonzo Ball, on the other hand, is a potential top 10 guard in the league. And I know that sounds a little bit whoa. But think about it. He's two ways, man. He is one of the best, maybe the top 5 best defensive guards in this league. He is. He's 6'7.5". He is long, man, and he can pass as good as anyone. So you talk about a two-way guard. Lonzo is right there. He's very special. He is a piece. And I don't want to get into it yet, but I want to talk about how stupid the Pelicans are for letting him go at some point, because that was, man. Should we talk about that right now, really quick?
You can get into it. Go ahead. The really Pelicans quick. letting him go to Chicago.
But even the coaching staff said one of the main reasons why the Bulls are as good. Okay, let me break this down. So if you got Caruso, DeRozan, all these other free agents, but you did not get Lonzo Ball, there would not be 10-4. We're not going to be 10-4. The fact that you got Lonzo Ball, it made him. Everyone knows who the point guard is now. There's no just like, all right, who's getting the ball? Who's going to pass the ball? Lonzo gets the ball. If Lonzo's on the floor, Lonzo gets to run the offense. And everyone knows it. That puts things into place, that everyone knows their role. Everyone knows what they're supposed to do. Everyone knows when I'm on the floor, this person's the first scorer, I'm the first scorer, he's the first scorer, he's the third scorer, or whoever's open is the first scorer, and that's because of Lonzo. He is the piece that puts everyone in the right place. And the fact that the Pelicans got rid of him for $20 million is insane. It is absolutely insane when there are guards in this league who are much less talented. John Wall, who make $47 million a year. Russell Westbrook. Those guys aren't even close to adding the value of Lonzo Ball. And he only makes $20 million a year. He's a bargain. And he's for 3 years. Dude, he might get the max someday. I don't even know. He might get close to the max someday. So, and the thing is, in Chicago, we'll pay him. We don't give a crap. We'll go over the salary tax if we need to. We don't give a crap. We will pay him. So,
but see that just goes back to like you made a perfect point too about it earlier. Like you said that Lonzo has his place, and then everybody like that just goes along with the whole like buying in. You know what I mean? Like Lonzo runs the offense. Okay, he runs. The team knows Lonzo runs the offense, and everybody has a specific job on that team, and they just, like I said, they have bought in to the system, and it's working, and it's working really, really well.
It is. And I genuinely believe that he is the guy, the reason. Now, obviously, DeMar DeRozan's scoring has been, I mean, you can't understate it. It's been great. And his leadership, his unspoken leadership. DeMar DeRozan is a quiet leader. Everyone respects DeMar DeRozan in this league. If you picked up DeMar DeRozan and placed DeMar DeRozan in the 90s, he would be one of the greatest guards of the entire era. And a lot of people know that. He is an old school baller, and hopefully these like we talked about, these new rules will continue to benefit his play style. But there was a moment there where he got left behind. The analytics left him behind, and he kind of got like
at the end of the run there with the Spurs. He started, at the end of his Spurs run. Yeah, he kind of got pushed to the background a little bit.
But now he's got a place. He's got Lonzo Ball setting him up and Zach LaVine on the other side. He's got a place, and he feels good. He's probably never. I mean, even Kyle Lowry isn't the. He's a good passer, but even he's not the talent that Lonzo Ball is. He's just not. He's not the talent that he is, and it is interesting. By the way, Bill, you got some. I got all three of your questions in the back of my mind here. We're gonna get to them at the end of the show. You got some excellent questions, my guy. Appreciate your contribution.
But yeah, man, like the Bulls, I just wanted, so what are your, I know the season still, we're only like 14, 15 games in.
Sure.
What do you think, man? Do you like what you're seeing? What do you, so basically my question is, are your preseason predictions changed, or are they the same, or where are your expectations at now that we've seen them play 14 games? What do you think?
Slightly exceeded the expectations. So I did think they were going to be good. I didn't think they'd be this good right away. I did think they were going to be good. I thought Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball together with DeMar DeRozan, I thought that was going to be nice. I did not expect Alex Caruso to be this good. He is more than earning his contract, way more than earning his contract. He is a very good player, and he might be a staple with the Bulls for a long time. So we'll see. That's very, very interesting to think about. A lot of guys are stepping up that I didn't expect to step up. Vucevic is playing as good as we would expect. And it's just a good team all around. And you said, what are my expectations? They slightly exceeded the expectations so far in the season. I didn't expect us to be amongst the top 3 seed right away. I thought it would take a little bit longer. I do expect them to maintain the top 5 seed. We might, go through some problems. There might be an injury or two, but pending an injury, I think they'll be a top 4 or 5 team in the league. And I think they'll make a small run, maybe win a series or 2. And that'll be exciting. I don't think they'll have the superstar power at all to win the finals yet. I don't. Like, who is the guy on the team that, like, maybe LaVine, but even then, we'll have to see it. I will have to see it. My opinion is I'm waiting. I
could see them getting to the second round. They'll probably, if with the right matchup in the first round, they could easily make it through. It's like you were saying, when they hit that second round and when you start to see that major jump in talent, that's when you're going to really start to see the dogfights, the real kind of that's going to be interesting. But I do think they can get out of the first round.
Right. What's our answer? Exactly. It'd be nice to just get out of the first round. Exactly. But what is our answer for Jimmy Butler? What's our answer for Joel Embiid? What is our I guess Vucevic. But what's our answer for Trae Young? What's our answer for Trae Young? What's our answer for that offense when they get going? There are some questions.
Let's say you guys play the 76ers in the first round. Right now, I'm picking Chicago. I think Chicago could beat the Sixers in the first round. I really do.
Right now. But long term, I don't know.
Because I think Vucevic could slow down Embiid enough. And I don't think that team – see, you guys have the biggest advantage I think the Bulls have right now is the talent on the court and the bench depth.
Yeah, the depth.
Like, I don't think – like, if I'm telling you, if they end up playing like a team like the 76ers or the 76ers themselves in the first round, I'm taking Chicago in that series. Absolutely.
I'd love to see it. I mean, I would love to see it, and it will be. That's the thing. The playoffs are where stars become stars. You know what I mean? So if Lonzo Ball and LaVine can really step it up in the playoffs, and Vucevic can be Vucevic, and DeMar DeRozan can be DeMar DeRozan, I think it'll be very good. I think it'll be a very good thing to see. And honestly, my expectations are low, but my hopes are very high for Chicago. That's what I would say. My expectations are low. Hopes are incredibly high, especially with the way they're playing now. If the finals, if the playoffs started right now, Bulls have as good a chance as anybody.
I think a big part of it is where they're going to end up in the seed and the matchup they're going to get in the first round. Because if they get a favorable matchup, I could absolutely see them making it through the first round. It might take them 5 games. It might take them 5 games to get there. but I do think they could get through the first round with the right matchup. Absolutely.
I think it's possible. I think it's very possible. There's an interesting trade conversation that we want to get to going on in the chat. You guys are interesting. It's interesting. I've been thinking about it myself. They've been talking about it, so it will be interesting to see.
So I think we're just going to that'll do it for the Bulls talk. Now we just kind of have we're going to just do some general NBA and general NFL stuff now, JD.
Sweet.
One of the major questions that somebody floated out a while ago, basically in the preseason, and it was in the offseason when these acquisitions were going on for the Lakers. Are the Lakers too old to make a run at the title this year? Do you think that's going to end up getting to them or not?
Yes, they're too old. LeBron's done. He's washed. Let's just be honest, man. No one has been the best player. LeBron, credit to him, he kept it going as long as possible. No one's been the best player on a championship team past the age of 35. It's just not a thing. It just doesn't happen, really.
It's a young man's league. It's a young man's league.
And after your 15 years of greatness in basketball, you become. Look at Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan's final title, man, was not because of Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan played a vital role. He was a piece. He was one of the 4 or 5 best players on the team. But it was Kawhi Leonard's title, man. That was the reason why they won the title. It was Kawhi Leonard. So when you look at LeBron James, he needs other guys, and he's never had it, honestly. That's one thing. There's always dysfunction with LeBron, whether he brings it, whether it just happens to him. That's to be discussed. That's to be debated. That is what it is. But what I will say about it is that he needs other guys to do other things. He can't be the only one-man show to win. And he's got Russell Westbrook, who's the king of inefficiency and just chaos. He's got Anthony Davis, who's just a complete roller. He's just so up. I don't know who he's either the best player.
He's been a real roller coaster. Like it's like a yo-yo with him. One real good game, one it's up down, up down, up down. One good, one bad. One good. One.
You got LeBron. His groin's messing up. His hamstrings messing up. His legs or ankles are messing up. It's over. It's over, man. 4 rings. That's great. You got 4 rings. Good job, LeBron. You did it. 4 rings. Good job, man.
And he's been to the title game. The title game. What, 11 times?
I think 11 times. That's amazing. You and Bill Russell are like in a little like group alone. Like it's special, man. But I think it's over for him. And if he proves me wrong, I'll be shocked. I will be mind blown. I thought he was done after the 2019 season. I thought he's that because here's the thing. 2018 LeBron, 2016, 2018 LeBron was the greatest player in the history of basketball. Can't talk about it. That's it. He averaged like 40 to 50 points a game with like a triple-double every single time he had the playoff game. But he's old now. And last time he was in the playoffs, he averaged like 21 points a game with like 11 assists. So he's more of like a big, tall, strong point guard who can shoot the threes. He's not LeBron James anymore. Even when he won the 4th title, he wasn't. AD was probably a little bit better.
Even when they won the title, he was more of a coach. He was more of a coach than anything.
So he's done. And the Lakers are not going to win another title with him. He should focus on breaking Kareem's record. That's what he should do. Shoot a lot of threes.
I'm with you on that. I don't think they're winning a title. And JD, let's be honest, with guys that age, and the NBA season's a freaking marathon. It's long and strenuous and just flying here, flying there, double, flying across the double headers, back to back. It ain't easy, dude. It's a young man's game. It's these, you see these guys that are up over 35 trying to do it, and it ain't easy. And I think eventually it might not be there now, but I think eventually the injuries are what's going to ultimately do them in. I think it's ultimately what's going to do them in.
If LeBron can't stay healthy, they're not going to win 50 games and they're not going to have a good playoff spot. And it's just going to be like last year where they had the 8th seed and they got smacked. So it's what's going to happen. I do believe that. And they don't have an identity yet. They keep on changing their identity. With LeBron being hurt, their identity will never get figured out. And beyond that, what was the final thing I was going to say about the Lakers? The Lakers, man. Oh, yes. Nothing to take away from that title in the bubble, right? The title in the bubble. It was a good title. It was. But think about this.
Yeah, they had to really grind that out, dude.
Exactly. And AD and LeBron, think about this too. So they had like a 3-month break when the pandemic first started or whatever. So they had like a 3-month break where they could just chill. And then they had like 3 games in the regular season. And they had a postseason. So basically, they had a 3-month vacation. LeBron's an old man. He had all that rest. He came into the bubble completely healthy, completely rested. No, treatment every day, I'm sure. I'm sure he got to dictate some of the rules of the bubble, so he was very comfortable. And he won a title in that bubble. Congratulations. But now, like you said, it's a marathon, man. And who wins marathons? Young men, young people, young, talented people with good young chemistry.
It really is a young man's game now. It's a marathon. It's a grind, dude. Like I said, the back-to-backs, the flying, one like if you're an East Coast team and you got to fly across the country to play to play 4 West Coast teams on an away stretch.
Yeah, and in the bubble he didn't have to do that.
But that's what I mean. That is a grind, dude. That's a grind on your body. This is a young man's sport, dude. It's these professional sports now are a young man's game. It's these guys up over 35, 33, 34, 35 years old.
Move over.
In football, in basketball, in baseball, these guys are it's a grind, man. They're long, strenuous seasons that it's a young man's game now, dude.
Rick said it best, I think, when talking about LeBron. Rick in the chat said, "Remember when Jordan went to the Wizards? That's what LeBron is now. That's what it is, man.
Yeah,
he's just and LeBron's never been this guy. Yes, Bill, we should definitely get to that for sure. He's never been like the most cooperative guy." But this specifically is a season. It kind of reminds me of the Lakers with Gary Payton and Karl Malone. And, you're never going to find that chemistry. You got all these guys and they're different.
All right. So Bill had a couple of really good questions.
Yeah, let's talk about Bill's questions. Sorry, Bill.
Let's get to those, man. Which one do you want to tackle first?
So let's talk about the first one he said. So he asked, I'm sure we have a few people that want to know what we think about this one. Are the Dallas Cowboys potential Super Bowl contenders? Why don't you answer that first?
No, fuck the Cowboys. They're not. No. How about that? How about them apples? No. Well, and here's the reason why. It's not that they're not playing well. And there is Dak tearing the league up, absolutely. And do they have one of the best receiving trios in the league? Yeah. Do they have one of the best running back duos with Pollard and Zeke in the league? Absolutely. Do they have a really good offensive line? Yup. Do they have they figured out some things on defense and gotten that straightened out? And is Diggs an absolute monster? Yeah. But they're the freaking Cowboys. And we all know they haven't been relevant in the postseason for 27 years now. 25 or 27 years. So until they prove me wrong, no.
Disagreed. The Cowboys are a Super Bowl contender, Bobby. They are. They have the formula. They have exactly what it takes. But will they do it? I don't know, because they're the Cowboys. So that you're right. They got to prove the rest of the world wrong. But here's what I'm going to say.
Look, I'm fully admitting they have all the tools.
All the pieces.
They have all the pieces and all the tools to be an absolute Super Bowl contender. But they have, in my opinion, an idiot head coach. And I think that's ultimately what's going to cost them, is their idiot head coach.
Maybe. But I will say this. I have two things to say to that, actually. The first thing I will say is Mike McCarthy, he might not be the best head coach, but he's probably an upgrade from Jason Garrett. Let's go. All right, Jason Garrett. That's all
he is an absolute upgrade from the Clapper.
So he's an idiot replacing another idiot. But anyway, the other thing I would say is that, yes, they have all the tools. They have every single tool that you could possibly need. And the only reason why I say they are contenders is because, to me, a contender is someone who has a chance to win the Super Bowl. It's not someone who will win the Super Bowl. You're not a favorite, but you are a contender. And here's why. They don't have Tony Romo anymore. I love Tony Romo, especially as a broadcaster. He's a nice guy. But Tony Romo is oh my God, it's the playoffs. I can't do it anymore. So they have Dak Prescott, and he is not a choker. He has a Lions mentality, as people have said. So I do think that they have a chance. They are contenders for the Super Bowl, yes. Now, will they do it because of the Cowboys? I don't know, because they are the Cowboys.
Here's another thing that could help Dallas is the potential matchup. So it all depends on their matchup that they get in the first and second round. Because if they got to play here's why I think Dallas. Here's another reason. There's two main reasons why I don't think Dallas is going to ultimately get to the Super Bowl, right? Are they going to get in the playoffs? Yeah, more than likely we will definitely see them in the playoffs. But they have the potential to get into a matchup in the first round that does not suit them well. Like if they have to play Green Bay in the first round, I don't think that's going to end well for them. I don't. But you know what I mean?
Yes.
So that's part of it too. It's
You're right.
The NFC right now is so stacked that they could just run into a team that's a bad matchup for them.
I like their chances against the Bucs though, because the way you beat Brady is to keep him off the field. I mean, I like their chances against anyone really, but I think that Rodgers going against McCarthy, and he seems to just slay the Cowboys too. Whenever Rodgers plays the Cowboys, he's always got something extra special for him.
That's what I mean. So, I can absolutely see that they're going to get it. The Cowboys will be a high enough seed to where they got to play a team like on Green Bay's level.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's going to go well for them. And they're going to be another first round exit. And it's not going to be their fault. It's just going to be that they just ran into a better, just a better team.
It's very possible. They could get out coached. They could get exploited in their secondary some way.
Because that's possible. What happened to them last time they made the playoffs is they ran into Green Bay and they were just a better team.
Yes, exactly right. What's up, Kitty? My cat's yelling at me. Exactly. That's exactly what happened last time. That was an old team. I mean, here's the thing. Dak Prescott, it took Tony Romo what? Did he ever win a playoff game? I don't even remember. It took Tony Romo like a decade to even get to the playoffs, like at all. But on the other hand, Dak has already won a playoff game. So I think you are your quarterback. You adopt your quarterback's mentality. And I think that they have a chance. I definitely think that the Cowboys have a chance. Will they do it? I don't know. There's a lot of things working against them. And I agree with you. It does depend on their matchup. It definitely depends on the matchup. There are 2 or 3 teams where I'm like, hell no, they're not going to win that game. They're just not. My cat is going to, okay, all right. I see. You want to be part of this, I see. She's going to jump up on the computer, all right. So what do you have to say about it, Ginger? All right.
Hey, come here.
But I remember another one of Bill's questions.
Communication.
All right, let's see what they have to say.
Look at the screen. Oh, there's another cat.
Look.
Oh, look at the screen. He's like, nah, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, she didn't even know what's going on. Another one of Bill's awesome questions, which I'm forgetting the second one, but I'm interested if you want to remind me, Bill. But another one of his questions was he heard that actually I remember it all now. He heard that Jaylen Brown may be traded for Ben Simmons.
No, that was a rumor that was dug into by the Boston media, and it just gained a bunch of steam. No, that is 1,000% not true. They would never. The Celtics would never give Jaylen Brown up for a guy like Ben Simmons. No, ever. No, they wouldn't do that. But Jaylen Brown's talent, they would want something more. So if they were giving up Jaylen Brown, they would want Philly's first, they would want a first round pick and Simmons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, they might. That's the thing. They might get that.
I don't think so. I don't think there's any momentum to that whatsoever. I don't think there's anything to that. At least from what I'm hearing in the Boston media, that they want no part of Simmons.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want any part of him either. In the final question, I agree with that. The final question that I heard about, or that Bill, and I'm sure we have a few others that we can get into. If you guys have any other questions, drop it in the chat for sure. But the other question that Bill had was OBJ. There's rumors, I guess, that OBJ after one game.
That's not true. That's not true.
Is that true? Okay, never mind.
No, that's not
true.
That's
just not true. I didn't. That didn't sound right to me.
That was like from like the fake Adam Schefter accounts. That's where that's coming from. No,
okay.
they just built up steam.
So we'll just it's
not true.
It's not true. Fake news. Hashtag fake news. All right.
I do find it entertaining. Like OBJ has been a head case and a problem for years now. It just seems like any team that takes him on just runs into problem. Like, this is why I was saying it was like a team like New England or bust for him, you know?
Yeah.
Because he was going into LA, and let's say Robert Woods didn't tear his ACL, right?
Yeah.
He was going into a team like LA to be the wide receiver 3. What the hell kind of sense does that? Like, if you're OBJ and you're whining about your targets in Cleveland, that you're not seeing the ball enough, and then you're going to go you're going to go into a team like the Rams, and you're going to be the 3. You're not going to be the 1. Cooper Kupp's going to see the targets first before you, buddy. Like, they're not just all of a sudden going to be like, nah, Coop, we're good, bro. We're not going to throw you the football no more. Even though you're one of the best receivers in the league, we're good. Nah, man. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, OBJ, know your place, bro. You're a wide receiver 3. So that's
sad how far he slipped. It really is. I don't know if it's his quarterbacks or if it's what it is.
But you know what I mean? Like, this is why I was saying, like, a team like the Patriots, or a team like Chicago looking for a team looking for a wide receiver 1 would have been a better fit for him than going to a team like Green Bay, because they have Devontae Adams and they have other receivers. You know what I mean? Like, and even then, he's still going to be a wide receiver 2. Guess what? Aaron is throwing to Devontae before you there, buddy. You know what I mean? He's an idiot. He should have, if he went to the Patriots, they would throw him the football 12 times a game. Seriously.
Yeah, no, you're right.
A team like that was
wanting
a wide receiver 1.
The Patriots would find ways to use him.
Get him involved.
I don't know what the Browns
if he came here, they would find ways to get him involved. This is why a lot of these guys who are in it for just the money do things so ass backwards that it's detrimental to their careers.
Yes, it is. It lasts a lot. You have a shorter career because of your selfishness at that point. And it's highly unfortunate.
Their own mental makeup is a detriment to their careers.
I mean, if you think about it, Antonio Brown, if he really just stayed with Ben, he probably could have broken some yardage records. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things.
And it's like OBJ and Antonio, they're just divas, dude. They're just high-priced diva receivers that just have that mentality, and it just doesn't. You know what I mean? Like,
and look at Antonio Brown; he's the 3rd-string receiver now, and that's what OBJ is facing. So that's what it is. I don't think much of OBJ anymore. I think he had one amazing catch and went viral around the world and made him world famous. And it was really cool. And then he was pretty good for the next 3 or 4 years. And then he kind of just fell off. And that's the end of OBJ. Maybe he'll have a second run like Randy Moss did. Maybe he'll have a second run like Antonio Brown is having right now. But like right now, do I think that OBJ is a difference maker? No, he's not a difference maker. He just is a talented wide receiver. He's a talented wide receiver. Kyle Holmes, what's that?
Let me ask you another football related question, JD. Right? Let me ask you another. We'll get to Kyle. I was going to ask him that as well. So first of all, I want to ask you, what did you? So Russ returned to action there for the Seahawks, and
Oh yeah,
the
right.
rust was definitely there from him being out. He didn't look too good. What did you think about his performance there? And do you think the struggles will continue, or do you think he'll be able to bounce back?
Oh man. Well, the Seahawks are not a good team. They're just not. They're not that talented anymore. They don't really have. They have a few players that are good. It looks like DK Metcalf is having a lot of chemistry issues. They're just not a good team anymore. So Russ, and he's coming off of a very serious injury, maybe the most serious injury of Russell Wilson's entire career, and it was in his thumb. I believe it was his throwing thumb.
His throwing hand. Yeah, his throwing hand.
It's a really big deal. It's a much bigger deal than a lot of people are even talking about. Will he get back to normal? I expect him to. Will they make the playoffs? Hell no. They ain't making the playoffs this year.
I'm with you on that.
Done.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think that's a huge ask out of that team. They're going to have to. They would have to win out to even have a shot at it.
The Seahawks remind me a lot of the Saints from 2009 or after 2009, but like from 2011 to 2017, right? Where they basically just have a good quarterback, and that's it. They don't have anything else going on for them. They just have a good quarterback, and that's all. And then when he's hurt, they're trash. So that is something that's really, if you're a Seahawk fan, that's really frustrating to see that your team is pretty much just not even prepared. Without Wilson, Pete Carroll has nothing figured out, and that's definitely a huge problem.
So we'll answer Kyle's question there, and then I have one more football and then one more basketball question for you, and then we're going to call it a show. Let's get to Kyle's question here. He said, what do you guys think about Cam Newton's performance there? I thought it was pretty good. It was a nice moment for Cam to go home and perform well. Good for him. He stepped into the Patriots system when they needed a guy to be the bridge guy that led them through the season to get to Mac Jones. They needed a guy. They needed a guy to be that bridge guy, and Cam stepped in and did what he needed to do to not make this franchise look stupid and look ridiculous and be an incredibly bad season. I was happy for him that he stepped in and looked the way he did. Good for him. It was good for him to get that moment and come back to Carolina like that. I thought it was a pretty good game for him. Not gonna lie. Was there stuff he could have done better? Probably, but for him, for being back in that spot, and good for him. Good moment for him.
I'm sure there's nothing more in this world that Panthers fans wanted to do when Cam Newton got cut from the Patriots, then sign Cam Newton, at least give him a home as a backup.
Bring him back to where it all started. Absolutely.
Exactly. There's nothing more that they want. The fans, I'm sure that most of the people in the organization, they wanted absolutely nothing more than to bring him back. But here's the problem. They really wanted to see what they had in Sam Darnold. And the answer is absolutely nothing. And once they realized that, they realized, hey, this kid is nothing. He's just some backup, whatever. Once they realized that, they said, and I think a few people got hurt or something like that, they said, you know what, Cam, come on back, buddy. We need you. We need you for the culture. We need you for the memories. We took us to the Super Bowl. Cam Newton kind of reminds me of Brian Urlacher, only on the other side of the ball. He's a guy that was a staple for your franchise for 10, 12 years. He gave his all, his blood, his sweat, his tears. He was one fumble recovery away from giving his blood, sweat, every little ounce of. But regardless, we're not going to rehash all that. It was a tough loss for the Panthers. The Super Bowl was. Either way, Cam deserves a lot of respect, and I'm happy for him. Very happy that he got to go home, and he scored 2 touchdowns. He doesn't have to play well. He can be the quarterback for the next 2 or 3 years while they keep drafting guys and figuring it out. And I'm happy that he has that opportunity to end his career with some dignity. That's what I'm happy for Cam Newton.
No, like I said, good for him. Good moment for him. Good moment for the city. Good moment for the team. Like it was like good, he stepped
it was a good moment for everyone.
He stepped into the Pats organization, and as much crap and hell as I gave him through the season,
Sure.
he made sure that this team saved face and they looked respectable in the transition when they were trying to find their next guy until they got Mac Jones. You know what I mean? Like I give him.
He's going to give you his all.
Yeah, good. And I will forever give Cam this credit. He was an excellent locker room guy for that Patriots team and the young guys, and he was a phenomenal guy in the locker room. He bled the Patriot way. He did it the way Bill wanted him to do it, and he followed the, you know what I mean? He was good for them. He was what they needed in the bridge guy to get them to Mac Jones, and he did exactly what they needed him to do. So,
and now he can be a bridge guy for the team that drafted him, the team that he took to the Super Bowl, and it's special. He can do that for a year or so. It's a
good story, dude. It's a good story. He came back home,
retire with dignity.
Yeah, no. That's a good way to put it too. Now he's back where it started, and he can be the bridge guy until they find the next guy, and he can go out. He can go out on top. He can go out with dignity, like you said. He can retire with dignity. He's gonna, he'll. It's just a good moment. Good for him. Good moment for the guy.
Yeah, and I'm happy for him. He deserves that much. He's been through a lot in the last couple of years. Injuries. Yeah. The COVID crap, a lot of stuff. So I'm very. It's a feel good moment.
Yeah, no doubt, dude, no doubt. Yeah. So I have one last NBA question for you. Now we had talked earlier. We kind of got into it earlier. About this being a young man's league and a young, But I'm telling you, man, a lot of these kids, these younger, the NBA, the new generation is going to be just as entertaining as ours. Because I mean, you got guys like Devin Booker, you got guys like Devin Booker, you got guys like Trae Young, Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, like that, the new young crop of guys that are going to be studs in this league and staples in this league for a long time. They're going to be entertaining, man. I want to get kind of your thoughts on just some of these young kids and Ja Morant especially, and Ja Morant and Reggie Jackson, and just the MVP race in general, but just overall, the state of the NBA is going to be, it's going to be exciting, man. This young group of kids coming into it now is going to be fun to watch.
I think that is you just pointed out the main reason why I think that LeBron James is done winning titles, but I don't think that Steph Curry is done winning titles. But I'm not going to talk about today. We can get into that another time. Steph Curry is having a ridiculous season. I will say that this young team, this young group of guys, where you got Ja Morant, Trae Young, Luka Doncic, even Devin Booker, and a couple other guys that you can throw into that conversation. It's really good for basketball because it tells you that LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Dirk Nowitzki, and all these guys can retire, and the league will still have transcendent talents that can move the conversation forward. Luka Doncic, for some reason, he has already broken Michael Jordan's record. So Michael Jordan had a record 25 5-5 games in a row, and Luka Doncic broke that record already. So you got a young guy who's breaking Michael Jordan's records. You can talk about that now for a long time. ESPN has they've beaten the LeBron James horse down so much that now they're just hitting like oil at this point. They've beaten, they're so far down in the dirt talking about LeBron James that now it's just a nice sigh of release. Can we finally talk about other people? For instance, I want to talk about John. I think he's
faded into the background because a lot of this young talent has really emerged, dude. You know what I mean? He's faded into the background while a lot of these young kids have really stepped forward, and how many of these young kids, the Ja Morants, the Trae Youngs, the Luka Doncic's, these young kids, they've stepped forward and said, we can carry the load and we can carry the NBA forward. You know what I mean? It's the next generation stepping up, dude. It happens.
He looks like a tall Allen Iverson sometimes. Just, he's unbelievable. And Luka Doncic, he's just, he's unbelievably dynamic. He's just, and then you have Trae Young, who is like he's not Steph Curry, but boy is he good. Boy is he a good player. Like, my God, he's good. And then you got Devin Booker, who wants to be. He has the want to. He has the willpower of about anyone. You got Jason Tatum, who can drop 50 in a couple of playoff games. The future of the league looks really good. But more specifically, I would say John Morant. If he plays like this all year, how is he not the MVP? How is he not the MVP? That's what I'm saying. Stuff like that. He's phenomenal. He's an unbelievable talent, and it's fun to watch. It really is.
No, definitely. It's the NBA with this next generation young group of kids stepping up, and they are stepping up. Don't get it twisted. These young core kids, they're stepping up big time, man. They're proving, like you said, the NBA and the league they're gonna march on and be just fine. As a lot of these guys that we grew up watching, the stars that we grew up watching are stepping back and fading back, and now you're seeing the NBA is going to be just fine. Now, I do want to throw you one last question, and we talked about it off camera. How good is Steph Curry?
Oh my God,
Steph Curry is he's on another planet right now. It's
really hard.
The level at which he's playing at is just, and has not only playing it this year, but just has played at throughout his career. Dude, it is something else. He has truly he is gonna be a transcendent player. But I'll let you have at it, man. I just wanted to give my little 2 cents at it.
To me, Steph Curry is a Mount Rushmore basketball player. He is. To me, he's a Mount Rushmore basketball player. Basketball is about shooting now because of him. When Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, it was about the center. And then when Michael Jordan came around, it was about the wing. And now it's about shooting because of Steph Curry. So to me, there's no more influential player. It's Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. That's it, dude. That's your Mount Rushmore of basketball, man. And a lot of people don't want to talk about it because Steph Curry is as tall as me. He's 6'3". He's not that tall. So people don't want to give him that credit because he's not this physically imposing guy. But when you watch him play, name a guy besides Kobe Bryant who has better footwork. Name a guy who can pass as good as him who's not named John Stockton. Name a guy who is as efficient and as good off the ball as Steph Curry is, and a guy who's led the league in steals before. So he is a defensive player. Now he's not like a post defensive player, but he's a good guard player. And the thing is, the Warriors, without Kevin Durant, without Klay Thompson, are the number 1 team in the league. Number 1 without them because of Steph Curry. Also, 2021, I had a little short video where I talked about it. Steph Curry has been blowing up the league, and nobody's even talking. I mean, ESPN hardly ever talks about it. It's like 45 to 60 points almost every other night, dude. It's unbelievable. He is one of the greatest offensive players in the history of basketball. It's not even a question. He's maybe the most efficient offensive player in the history of basketball, and he honestly is underrated, as weird as that sounds, and I think he's going to win 1 to 2 more NBA championships. What do you think, man?
Yeah, no doubt, dude. He's just the level at which he's playing at is it's otherworldly right now, and another part of his game too is it looks so effortless. You know what I mean? It just looks so effortless for him on the court to just it's amazing. It truly is you get to witness when you watch him play, he's going to be one of the greatest players to ever step foot on a court. You're getting to witness it too. At the end of his career, his stats and his accolades are going to be ridiculous.
And with LeBron aging, there's only one guy left that can just dominate the finals, and that's Curry. And I think that's what we're about to see. Klay Thompson coming back during Christmas, that's going to be crazy, especially if the Warriors are in first place. Holy crap. That would be insane if Clay came back and is even half as good as he usually is. You got Jordan Poole.
The Splash Brothers back after Christmas.
Dude, it's over. The league is on notice, bro. Like, if Curry doesn't get hurt, he's the MVP. It's just, if he doesn't get hurt, he's the MVP.
At this point, with the way he's playing, I would expect it. I don't see why he wouldn't be, because of how he is play right now.
He is incredible. He's the best, in my opinion. Steph Curry is the best pound for pound basketball player in the world.
He is a phenomenal talent. He is something else. He can shoot, he can pass. When it comes to guard on guard defense, he is very, you know what I mean? When it comes to like position on position defense, he's pretty good at it. He just all around, dude. He is a transcendent player. He will be a transcendent player.
Yes, forever. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can win another title. And if you're Kevin Durant and they win a title without you, oh boy, that's bad. That is bad for you.
Yeah, he might look back on that and be like, maybe I screwed up. Maybe I messed up there.
Oh yeah, Phil brought up the fact that they Iguodala. Whew, yeah, he's been good too. He's been good too.
Yeah. Very no doubt. No doubt.
Absolutely.
But I think that's all we got for you guys for episode 17. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. JD, this was a good one, man. This was a fun show.
Amazing to be back, my man. As always. Can't wait for episode 18.
I think I can speak for my dude. It was a long 2-week hiatus, man. We've been trying to get back on the show for a while. Both of us have just been busy. But it's good to be back. Good to be back talking with you guys. Good to be back seeing the live crowd.
You guys are awesome.
For anybody watching on iTunes, on the playback, thank you guys again. If you would like to be a part of the live chat when we broadcast these podcasts, it is on Beantown Breakdown. That is the YouTube channel that it is broadcast from. So come in and hang out and be a part of the live chat while we do our live broadcast. But whoever does watch on the replay, thank you again. Me and JD greatly appreciate all of the support that's thrown our way. Thanksgiving's right around the corner, man. And I think I can speak for both of us. It's we're thankful for the support you guys have shown the show, man. It's grown steadily. Every episode that we do it, it's a little more momentum. And that's thanks to you guys, the fans. You guys, me and JD just come on here and we do what we do. We talk our talk and we just broadcast the show for you guys. It's the fans, man. I'm thankful
Thanks for
watching
all of them. iHeartRadio, listening.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and not only on YouTube, but for the ones that watch on the playback too, for my heart, it's you guys. Awesome. It's the fans. You guys build this thing into what it is. And it's grown steadily from episode 1 to episode 17. You guys have slowly built it up. And like I said, me and JD, with Thanksgiving right around the corner, I think I could speak for him when I say we're thankful for you guys and the support that you show. Both of us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. Amazing contributions in the chat today. You guys,
absolutely, and we do have the best fans. They put out some of the best questions and a lot of knowledgeable baseball, basketball, football, top, like anything that we're talking about. They know their stuff, and you could tell that they're fans. They're true fans of it. But we appreciate you guys. We really do. Without y'all, it wouldn't work. So if you're watching on iTunes on the playback, and iHeart, if you're watching on iHeart on the playback, thank you again. Me and JD couldn't do it without you guys. We really do enjoy interacting with the chat on the live broadcasts. Y'all know you guys are the best, the moderators. We appreciate all of y'all. This was a good one. Episode 17, JD, in the books. And we'll be back for 18 and forward. But once again, episode 17 in the books, guys. Thank you again. We love y'all, and we will catch you on the next one. I-90 Sports Nation, we're out of here. Love y'all. Be good. We're out. Hey, last second
shout out to
with
Rick.
The Canadian 55 in the house.
Damn.
the 50 spot. Appreciate
effing
you,
go.
Ken.
Bear down.
Huh? We
said, "Let's effing
appreciate
go."
you, man. $55 Canadian donation. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for the support, man. 50 spot in the chat. Dono hype. Once again, thank you guys. Thank you again. Me and JD love y'all, and we will see you on episode 18. Rick, you were the man. We're out of here. We love you guys.
Love you guys.
We're gone. Let's go. JD, hit him with it before we get out.
Let's fucking go. Bear down. Woo!
Let's go, Pats. Let's keep it rolling. We're out, boys. Ladies and gents, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.